Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Reviews adventure through the perilous, twisting, turning whiskey maelstrom of Secret Spirits' Advent calendar. We are up to day 15, so we'll see what the hat has in store for Dave's addled and soon-to-be confused taste buds. Or will they come out shining, glistening glory? We'll just have to see what it's got for him.
Following us so far, you know that there have been some real... deceptive, challenging.
We've seen things. We have seen. We've seen distilleries we've never tried with Kingsburn. We've seen blends which. Did I take the right one out?
Day 15 should be on the left, close to the top.
Why is there no bottom? So 15. Here we go. Oh, it's going to get about without a fight this time. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not.
So 15 on the label for this one?
Absolutely.
Good.
Well, I'll double check once we get it. Oh, here we are. So, yes, indeed. 15. The noise I make every single time, so as not to give anything away. Let me just study the label here. Curious. Very curious. And I suspect... somewhat of a challenge, but we will find out as we go. You've done pretty well so far. You've made some picks that I thought were going to be astonishingly difficult.
Doing okay. The generalities, the specifics are where I start.
Yeah, well, the specifics are where it becomes tantamount to impossible. All right. I think I've familiarised myself with that. We should take its place under the tankard, and away we go.
Starting with lock. Okay.
Ooh, okay. Wasn't expecting that.
Okay, I'm getting... there is some peat happening.
Yes, there certainly is. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Ah, so it's not something that would normally be peated, or peated to this degree.
Well, that's as much as I'll give away, but...
Okay.
Yes, you would say quite a surprising whack of peat there, and what sort of peat are we thinking?
Well, it's not as... greasy and oceanic as Isla peat, I think. I'm thinking more of a mainland peat.
Okay. Well, that narrows down the choices
Does a bit.
remarkably.
Yeah.
Although less than it used to.
Yeah,
Everybody's peating their whiskey these days.
Yes.
We've got peated Ben Riach, peated Glendronach, peated everybody really, if you think about it. So not quite an easier pick as it was, say, 10 years ago, when it was sort of Aaron and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron. Ardmore. My long lost pick from last time. Will be one day.
I'm going to have to go and take a sip. I'm not getting too much off the nose. Ooh, that's got quite a prickle, and it is becoming more Isla.
Yeah, I agree. Agree wholeheartedly. That has got a, you'd call that a twang. That's got to it. A very seaweedy twang, I think.
Yeah, that has gone quite Isla-y. Only it was subtle before. It's not one of the savagely weapons-graded peat monstrosities you get out of some of the Isla distilleries. Has it got water in it now? Did I just...
no.
If you could, that would be excellent, based on how much water you deem suitable for
I'll
the
give you a
drink.
sensible quantity.
Ah.
I'm just going to do some lightning fast looking up here. You've got half your time remaining, but I'm just going to look this one up on the phone here.
This is a real struggle. There's some peat. Other than that, there are some sweet fruits. There is some honey, a little bit of heather, a few herbal qualities too.
Yes, it is. It's a very... It's hard to get at these flavours because there's this fug of peat on top.
Yeah.
It's making it a bit difficult to sort of reach through.
What I'm thinking is this may be a peated Bunnahabhain. Not a very heavily peated Bunnahabhain though, fairly gentle. So I've had some, obviously most Bunnahabhain, no peat, some Bunnahabhain astonishingly peated. This one though is just a gentle but firm level of peat. So I'm going to guess, as my final guess here, this is a peated Bunnahabhain, maybe, I'm thinking, 9 to 10 years old.
Okay. Well, gravy points with the guess of the year. So please remove the hat.
Oh.
And I have indeed found what this is supposed to be. You've come remarkably close.
Oh, good.
Yet again. The thing that I said was never going to happen has happened again.
wherever a peated their distillery?
It's another blended Islay malt.
Ah, wow.
It is from the Lost Distillery Company. It is blended malt, and it is the Losset Archivist, which I have very, very hastily looked up here. On is at 46%. It is a blended Islay malt, or rather a blended malt. There could be non-Islay.
Oh, it does say
non-Islay whiskey
region
here.
various. So it is not an all Islay
But-
creation.
If the website is to be believed, it is blended to recreate a lost Islay distillery. So exactly which one
Right.
they are alluding to. There may have been a Losset distillery. I think my memory. Oh, if memory's sort of it's saying yes, there was at one stage. I know nothing about it, but this presumably is their sort of attempt, much like one of our very, very earliest videos. If you go all the way back to the beginning, practically, the Shackletons blend.
Yeah.
The old McKinley's blend. That was a blended recreation of a historic malt, and this is the same sort of a idea. They've taken other various whiskies from, if the label is to be taken literally, not just Islay, but
Yeah, various regions.
obviously, quite a bit of Islay.
That explains things like the quite noticeable Bunnahabhain style sherry characters,
Yeah.
but also that
The
slightly
sherry's a good
peated.
pick, because
Yeah.
this is very peaty, that's for sure, but there is clear sherry influence.
And when there was no water, the nose was not very distinctly Islay. It was more like a more mineral mainland peat rather than an oceanic.
Yeah,
briny.
this is giving me a little bit of vibes of Curious Artist to me, which is I think they do use Islay peat for that one. That's one of now quite a few Ben Riach peated expressions. You can get it in a young and in a shockingly mature 17-year-old version. Both are good. The 17-year-old is better, as you might imagine. But yeah, as to the age of this, it's not giving us any hints,
No.
but I think there is... Well, I mean, there's always going to be a collection of whiskey here, but I think
Yeah.
there's some of it is older rather than younger. There's some pretty mature... I almost got, when I first noticed this, a bit of old Bowmore, which is not something that shows up too often. There's not an old Bowmore in the world these days, but it has there's a slightly coaly note. I think of all of the Islas, at least to my palate, Bowmore is one of the least sort of tangy. It's one of the least sort of iodine-y. It's the least sort of it's the opposite of the Lafroig Lagavulin end of the spectrum. It's a drier coal smoke, and that's something I get, and it gets more sort of mineral as it gets older, and you were getting quite a mineral, sort of a almost flinty,
first,
stony character, yeah.
It got on the tongue. There was much more sooty Islay peat, a lot
Yeah.
more salt, a lot more brine and iodine. But at
So
first,
yeah, if I
certainly-
was to hazard a guess on this one, I think there is some, if not old, then certainly mature, over 12 years old, Bowmore happening in this one. Yeah, it's that flinty, rocky, coal smoky, bituminous, if you will. Geologists out there will know what I'm talking about.
So if it wasn't for Bunnahabhain, if not Bunnahabhain, my other guess would have been for a single malt would have
Yeah.
been for a Brookleddy, one of their
Peated-
less peated experiments.
Peter Bunnahabhain is rarer and rarer now
Yeah.
because it's been so long since they made rather older Peter Bunnahabhain. You can get new there, Totiak, assuming that's even how you say that, and I think they have one or two heavily peated expressions
Yeah.
now, but your typical Bunnahabhain is now unpeated and kind of always was, so it's pretty rare.
Cadenhead recently put out, I think, a 5 or 6 year old heavily peated Bunnahabhain,
Yeah.
which is the greasiest, oiliest,
That's a
smokiest
real
monster.
That's a real
It's an entertainment. It is
gunpowder
a-
whiskey,
yeah.
that one.
But this is obviously absolutely nothing like that.
So yeah, I think, in terms of just how much I like this one, this is really nice.
Yeah.
This is like drinking old Islay whiskey, and I suspect that's because that's what's happening. We are drinking old Islay whiskey here. I really wish I knew, and we'll have to try and find out what we didn't hear and how old it was, because if it's old Bowmore, which I think it is, that's so hard to get.
I think it's like a delicious whiskey sandwich. There's a good
Yeah.
layer of peaty bread on each side. It's been filled with layers and slices of and condiments of different other whiskies.
Yeah, I
slicing
guess
to give it
if
straight
you're
a
if
nutritious
you're
whole.
tasting this yourself, you know what I'm trying to describe. If you're not, it's imagine all the smokiness of Islay but all the sort of honeyed richness of Speyside at the same time. It's really quite interesting. I will have to do some research on this the lost Losset, because I have never heard of such a distillery on Islay. But Islay's been around a long time, and so has the Scottish distilling market. So it may be that it did exist a very, very, very long time ago. So if I'd done my work, I might have even put a link in the comments where you can go and look at a Wikipedia page or something, as I have today. So without further ado, we will rustle on into the next one and catch you tomorrow. Slàinte, stay safe, and we will be right back.